Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different, and that's a fairy story that I'm going to integrate into Brick Nottingham. Once upon a time there was a lazy boy from Brick Derby called Jack. Hi Jack! All Jack liked to do was sit around his house, eating sticky buns and playing video games online. Jack's poor mum worked 2 jobs just to keep the bills paid and to keep him supplied with pastries. She implored Jack to get a job and help out. Didn't he know there was a cost of living crisis? Jack just shrugged. Ultimately, Jack's mum couldn't pay the bills and decided to sell Daisy, the cow, their most valuable possession, to pay the broadband bill. Jack was roped into taking Daisy to market, but instead of selling her for money, as instructed, he got duped by the ruthless leader of a criminal ninja organisation into swapping Daisy for a few magic beans. Needless to say, Jack's poor mum was not happy with this news and threw the useless beans out of the window. What was she going to do? Jack just played more video games online. Well, in the morning, hours after his mum had gone to work, Jack woke to see a massive beanstalk had grown from the beans. It was not 1, but 2 Duplo vine pieces, part number 31064, crudely joined together. Jack decided to climb the beanstalk all the way to the top, where it went deep into the clouds. There he could walk on the fluffy clouds up to a lovely family home. Jack didn't knock on the door, he just went inside the house, not even stopping by to test the temperature of 3 bowls of porridge on the table. He instead went straight for the valuables. He saw a magic harp that could play its own tune and a goose that laid golden eggs. But even better than that, he saw a crate of golden bananas and he decided to make off with them. It was then that a kindly, loving giant came home singing a jolly song about baking. Fee, fi, fo, fum, I'll grind the wheat and make some bread. A very innocent and lovely song. But the giant's good humour would not last long when he saw Jack, the thief, with his golden bananas. He'd worked hard to earn those bananas. The giant was a tall man, not a monster. Sure, he had slightly unusual arms that were quite scary at first glance, but he was a lovely guy if you got to know him. Jack ran from the giant's house, ran across the clouds, and threw himself down the beanstalk, with the giant in fast pursuit. What could Jack do? He was far too far in now to go back. So he got a shiny dual-moulded axe and started to chop away at the beanstalk. The weak single-stud connection was no match for the axe, and the beanstalk and giant came tumbling down. Having fallen a great distance, the giant was stone dead. He left behind a loving wife and 4 beautiful children, 2 boys and 2 girls. The end. But what became of Lazy Jack from Brick Derby, I hear you ask? Well, he was found guilty of hate crimes against giants and was sent to prison for burglary and murder. He doesn't get sticky buns anymore in prison and he can't play video games online. Meanwhile, the giant's wife dedicated her life to the memory of her loving husband and fought against giant and scary arm prejudices for the rest of her days. And that really is the end. Haha, well that was quite good fun actually. It took me 2 attempts to do the audio straight in one go, and then I used the second one playing in the background while I was just doing the motions of all the pieces, and it was quite hard to keep up at certain points, as you've probably noticed. But yeah, only 2 attempts at that, and I got all the way through, so yeah, I'd rather keep it raw and interesting than try and perfect it. But yeah, a really good story. So what am I going to actually use of that story to incorporate into Brick Nottingham? Well, I think it has to be that sort of middle scene where most of the parts are involved. So I think we can get rid of the prison uniform part for Jack, add back his original body, and I think that he should be midway through holding the axe and chopping down that beanstalk. So let's put that in his 2 hands like that, and we'll have him mounted at the bottom of the beanstalk in Brick Nottingham. So that's good, and maybe he should have the jelly beans nearby, so that'll be really nice. So then we've got the beanstalk, which I've had to kind of join together just with some 1x1 bricks kind of wedged in between these pieces just to join it together, but that's not too bad. And I've got a stud for attaching to the ground at the bottom and a stud at the top for attaching to the cloud pieces that will be sort of, stuck to the wall of the Lego room. So that will be behind Jack at the bottom there. I may only use one depending on how it looks in the city, but I think two would be a bit better. Then the recent cloud pieces that I bought on the last brick haul have all been kind of joined together to make this piece. There's a little standing platform behind, and this has two purposes really. The first is so we've got a nice flat surface to put a sticky on to stick to the wall. That'll be good. And then I've also got a hinge brick in here that only hinges just a little bit, but that's just enough. So when we attach our giant, then he's kind of peering over the edge of the clouds with his scary arms, looking down the beanstalk at Jack. So I think that is a really good little attachment point there, and it means that his big coat, if he was standing there normally, would get in the way of the wall. So it kind of sorts two problems in one go. So I decided to remove his normal arms, because this was the character Hagrid, his body, as you might remember. He was the one who was the co-pilot of the Millennium Falcon. I think that's right. I decided to swap his arms just to make him a little bit more spooky with these suitably coloured dinosaur front arms. I don't know what dinosaur they're from, but they're very spooky indeed. And I gave him kind of an old school haircut and a very angry face, because he has just had his golden bananas stolen, of course. So that will be stuck on the wall at the top of the beanstalk, and the beanstalk can attach on there. So I'm going to have to get the spacing exactly right. So we need that. We need that. We need that. We don't need any of this stuff. We don't need Mother here or the bowls of porridge. And we don't need our evil criminal mastermind who's got Daisy the cow. So I can put them all to one side. And I think we better take at least some of the golden bananas along for the prize that's been stolen from the giant's house. So I'll put the rest to one side and take all of this up to the Lego room, where we can install it somewhere nice and visible. All right, well, up in the Lego room, and I haven't got a huge amount of choice with which wall I can mount this beanstalk up, because I've already got so many buildings and plans for other buildings up against all of my walls, and I do need to be able to reach this site to mount it, because it's quite fiddly. And the area I thought that would be best was kind of the old town, because, well, it is a fairy tale after all, and castles are very fairy tale-esque, so I thought this was the best region, and, well, I've gone ahead and done it. And there it is, in between At Sweat and the castle on Major Oak Hill, and doesn't it look eye-catching from a distance? There we've got the wonderful giant up in his cloud, and the beanstalk all the way down. I did use both pieces because, well, it just makes more dramatic effect. And then we've got Jack at the bottom with his axe, his pot of jelly beans, and his stolen golden bananas. Yes, so that makes very good use of quite a vertical shaped hole in between two very good buildings. I didn't want to build something really big there to block the side of At Sweat or the scenes that you can see from the second standing hole in front of the castle. So I think it works rather well. It definitely draws your eye to that great big beanstalk. So yeah, you'll have to tell me what you think. I think it's really quite good fun. It's definitely something very different from my city. I think you'll agree. So yeah, ideas for any improvements on that, greatly received, or just opinions. Do you think it's too silly, or do you really like the story? So yeah, maybe I'll do some more. Three Little Pigs? Who knows? Well, one problem that stemmed from installing this is that one of the cloud pieces fell off the cloud structure. I've since found another one somewhere else and managed to attach something on the back to make it a bit more strong. But believe it or not, it fell right down the side of that table, which you can't even see a very big gap there. And now it's on the track for the underground. I can't reach it because my arms are too big. So I'm going to see if Mrs. Hood's more womanly arms are able to reach that cloud piece so we don't have an underground derailment. That would be a disaster. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. As always, do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome Lego videos. And if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it. Do check out the links in the description below. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, it will be Monday, and I think I promised that we'd be going back to the fairgrounds, so that's probably what we should do. And then next time we will have a brick haul after that. So until all of that, see you! Yeah, that is a cool beanstalk and a scary giant.